Hey guys, today's job is to do the shifter underfloor box. Here is the Golf MK5 tower. Now of course the T4 shifter's a lot higher. I've got short arms on top of the gearbox to reduce the throws. By the time you've extended up here, you're going backwards and forwards loads. I have seen quite a few bits where people have put, you know, custom boxes off the floor. I've even seen these mounted inside. You know, I'd rather just try and do a nice underfloor one, keep it nice and neat, and hopefully it should look pretty cool. So I'm going to mark it all out now. Even the Lupo cables are far too long. Just underneath here you've got a brake line that goes across, and you've also got like a bit of reinforcement for the floor here. The hole that we've got here is only about 12 centimetres, and that's 14 centimetres there. The width should be 12.5. So the stick will come up about here, and all it needs to do is just move over here slightly, and that'd be ideal. So I'll just get the stick modified slightly, and we're away. Right, I know where my hole is. This is the hole in the T4 floor. There's a lip that goes around 120 by 120. So I'm just going to nip it in here so that I can fit it in just around the square in the floor. You've actually got a nice flat area. So this here represents the underneath. So I can go into it slightly and take a bit of the lip out. It's time to cut the back of the shifter off. Right, both of those have been shortened down. So all I'm going to do now is cut this out and sit that in there. Right then, finished cutting everything. Now for the moment of truth. Right, okay, so here's the underneath of the shifter. Very messy, but this is just a prototype. Once I know this works, I'm going to send it off to get scanned, all the datum points, so we can get this made up in billet, which would be nice, much more solid. This has all been shortened by 50mm to come closer. So I'm going to send everything off so that the cable company can throw something together for me. Just marking out where I've got to put the holes on here so they've got something to go by. Hey guys, the custom shift base is now back from Cable Tech. They've made the cables for me, and they are absolutely bang on. So huge shout out to Cable Tech. They've been absolutely amazing. Sent them over a drawing and outlined exactly what I wanted, and they've turned these around really quickly for me. These are the fittings. We've got a threaded insert that goes through with a bolt on the end. There's a bit of adjustability here for the side throw, and on the other end of course you've got a certain degree of adjustability available with these. So for the moment all I'm going to do now is pop over to Wix and grab myself a small bit of aluminium to go on the bottom here, just to seal it off so that there's not a hole going through, you know, from the inside of the van to the floor outside. A lot of you will look at this and think, oh, that's ugly. Well, this is just a prototype so that I could work out the length of the cables that are required. And also on the T4, just on the underside here, there's a bar that runs across. You see that there? It's upside down. Well, that basically comes down about an inch, so it means that I had to move away from the original cable shifter box that came to about here. It's 50mm longer, so I've shifted that back now. What I've had to do on the gearbox end is I've had to use short throw arms. Now there are different kits that you can get out there. Diesel Geek do an amazing quick shift kit for the O2M, but I want to move away from that, and I'm going to try and retain the original ones, because if you look on the top of the gearbox here, you'll see that I've used the shorter arms. I've had to move this one across here and also on this one here, so this will work for the prototype, but for the shifter that I'm going to be making for the inside of the van, I want to keep the original bits. I want to keep as many of these things as original as possible so they all work seamlessly. And the way that I'm going to achieve that is when I send this off to Robert SWR, we're going to be moving this pivot point higher, which is then going to move this point higher, and it means that we can run a longer arm on this part and on the bottom as well. I've had to cut up the floor on my T4 just to get this custom one in. Now let's nip over to Wix and get myself a nice bit of aluminium to cover over here. Here we go then, thin sheet of aluminium. So all I've got to do now is cut that to there. There you go guys, so there's a plate on the bottom, so now I can just fold the ends over. Not neat, it's just there to really seal it in for a month or two. Just going to use some old cheap instant gasket. There you go. Now's the fun part, getting under the van. It was a t-shirt bod summer for me, so it is a little bit of a squeeze to get underneath the van at the moment. I'm not going to lie, Ant at Autostyle actually had to push up the top of the van so that I could squeeze underneath. It's quite embarrassing. Right, and before I put these under the car now, these are running quite close to the downpipe. So I've got some of this gold foil tape just to keep a bit of the heat off. So now I'm going to bolt it up underneath and get everything connected up and just give it a little test. I don't know if you can see that, but there's steam coming out of my mouth. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here right now. See, no fancy garage, everything's on the floor. Oh, I'm so tired. Well then, ladies and gents, here is the least glamorous part of YouTube. Stuck under the car with inches to spare. Now I've had to wrap up warm and put a coat on because the reality is, you know, I'm 35. If I go outside now without a coat, I mean, I can die. You know, you're at that age, you know what I mean? So I've got to look after myself. Whenever you see people standing proud by their car in the summer, you know that they've been stuck underneath, freezing cold in the winter, trying to get it ready and trying to get those little mods done. Look at the exhaust, it looks incredible. And you're a legend. Look at it. Oh, there's not even enough room for me to turn the camera. Let's get the shifter in underneath, tuck the cables through and try and get it mounted up. I've got in one of my pockets that I can't actually get into. There you go. It is tight under here, guys. You'll be able to see why I've got that angle on the back. That's why you have to have the angle on the back so it can clear the fuel tank. Right, it's in. So I'll try and put the camera down somewhere. It is horrendous, but that's the fun of it, you know. My missus does not understand this at all. She really thinks I'm a loon. I don't even know if you can see that. Here we go. I'll get my arm through the back box just so I can get... Oh no, one's fallen out my pocket. I'm never going to see that again. And everything's now in situ. All the cables move in and out freely. Perfect. So now it's just a case of getting that cover up underneath. So you nip back up and grab the bits. It's really good to see something that you visualised actually materialise. And there you go, guys. Shifter's all mounted in. Not sure on the height yet. I might keep it similar height. I'll figure it out, but I'm going to base it on a standard T4 stick because a lot of people are going to have their own setups. Some people are going to have the fiberglass audio sport pod that comes around here. So I just basically want to make sure that everything still fits inside anyone's van, really. Now for the knob, I've got this one here from Motormech. It was like a tenner, M10 by 1.5. That's going to come over this way. So there'll just be like a little bit that goes on there like a sleeve, 45 degrees, and then up here, just in the right spot. So just roughly around there where the handbrake is. It's about 5 inches that way and that way. So it'd be about there. So I'm going to finish this video off there. I just wanted to show people what I'm doing for the prototyping. Lots of food for thought, but for the moment it's just a case of getting it working, finding out where that's got to be in relation to those holes at the bottom. Hope you've enjoyed watching a bit of just prototyping, really. This is the stuff that actually takes all the time, just messing around. If you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, please do. I'm trying to build those pages, but they're really slow. The YouTube's been growing at a much faster rate than the Instagram or Facebook. So thanks a lot, take it easy, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Bye.